Yeah, so I'm a little bit tipsy today. Hopefully everyone will be fine with that. Maybe they'll enjoy it better. Maybe I'll be funnier than normal, or actually funny this time. All
Well,
right.
the problem is when you're drunk, you think everything is funny, but that's not necessarily how people are going to perceive it. You got serious all of a sudden.
Yeah. No, I got serious because uh, I had another window open, which is this live stream, but the YouTube side of it. And it started playing a few seconds after our own voices. And then I was like, oh, fuck, how do I fix this? That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
People always think it's something else, right? That's what always happens. Okay, let's do a quick intro, and then I want to do some like announcements. Today we are, or mostly I am, delivering my current plan for this program, Ex-Muslim Activists Learning Series, for the purpose of you and others watching to give me critical feedback to improve the project and the proposal that I'll be delivering to Ex-Muslims International. And to be clear, I already got some really amazing help from Haram Doodles and Skeptic Samir, both of EXMI. So, okay, that's a good enough intro. Well, I guess I should say what we're going to be talking about a little bit. I have a ton of things prepared. I already made the forum for, and by the way, I'm going with the name EALS, EALS, EALS. And I guess we are eels. The people in it are eels.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're going to be electrifying people when they come in contact with you.
I was thinking that metaphor might work because it's like a hidden, like an eel. If you don't know what an eel is, and you just see a snake in the ocean, you might not really, because snakes on land don't have this feature, the electrical thing. So you get zapped, and maybe that's the anti-trolling.
Well, it's not necessarily anti-trolling also, but you can maybe think of it as the shock of knowledge, to thinking, yeah.
Shock to the other people, because it doesn't shock the eel. The eel's all calm, going, yep, this is all normal for me. Nothing's going on. And that's what I feel like a lot of times, by the way, because like there'll be some information that is new to the person that's hearing it from me, but it's 15 years old for me. It's not shocking for me anymore. I'm not surprised by it, but they're freaking the fuck out. It's so new to them, Anyway, so I'm going to show you guys the forum. I'm going to show you the guidelines, or like, I don't even know the right word, like the first page that you would read when you get there. I'm going to show you guys some ideas that I had Grok and ChatGPT make, or rather, Grok made the ideas to integrate the live stream with the forum, so they work well together and feed each other.
Okay.
I had Grok make 35 ideas, and then I had ChatGPT organize them into a useful way, ending up combining some of them in groups, just to help me think through it. And then I'm going to show you the first couple episodes I already have planned. And then I'm going to show you the application process and tell you that we're accepting early applications. I guess I'll be telling you a second time because I just said it once. Okay.
That's what happened when you had too much to drink before that.
Really? Are you sure? So how do we know I wouldn't have done that without the alcohol? By the way, I'm also high. That's more normal. Anyway, announcements now, okay? Not related to today's program. On September 30th, we celebrated International Blasphemy Day 2025 live on this YouTube channel. I recommend everyone watch it. There's a link in the comments, and no, there isn't because I haven't done that yet. And you can't blame that on alcohol. I did that wrong last time too. Okay?
Well, we don't know if you weren't drunk last time.
Well, I do. You don't know. Okay, I just commented that. Now you can find it in there. Oh, and okay, I already put. Okay, so next thing. During that, we focused a lot on one particular blasphemy issue, somebody within EXMI who's now in jail, Betty. Let me put that comment. Did I do that? No. There we go. I think I should put the name in there. Ibtisam Lashkar, right? Am I saying it well?
Yeah.
I pride myself in pronouncing things well. So when I'm a little bit off, I don't like it. I don't like myself.
Well, it's a Moroccan name, so it's not very obvious.
So you're saying I can't do it anyway. So I'm off the hook. That's what you're telling me?
Well, if I saw the word written in Arabic without actually knowing how it's pronounced, I'm not going to pronounce it that way.
Right. Yeah, but that's just spelling. And it's Latin letters spelling. Fuck that. There's no fucking rules, almost. No, like, reasonable rules. There's a lot of dumb rules. But it's good enough. We get by, it's a universal language, blah, blah, blah. I'm not shitting on it that much. By the way, I'd like to have a discussion one day with you about comparing Arabic to English and maybe other languages too. But I know and also Hebrew. So I'd like a comparison of all three. I only know two of them, but and by the way, it's really amazing to talk to AIs about these things because they know, I asked Grok, 148 real languages and 8 fake ones. It's weird. Like, actually, I don't want to derail. All right. Sign the petition. I put that. Next one. And learn more about Betty and her situation and what you can do to help free her. Putting the comment first, now putting the banner. Right there. Okay. Next, I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but I guess it's already playing down there. I'm going to get rid of this one. It's already playing.
Regarding Betty's issue, it needs to stay in the consciousness of people. She is in jail, and there are so many different
issues. Yeah, this one was a selfish one. Yeah. Like and subscribe to the channel. It wasn't about Betty. You went too far. By the way, you went too far. I notice I have idioms in my head that it's hard for me to tell if it's only in English or in English and Arabic or only Arabic because I got a mix in my head. So I have to ask other people that are only in one of them. So one example, I heard this from Yasmin. I forget her last name, but it's long. Al-Barawami? Baramawi.
Yeah.
Okay. I flipped them. That's because of my weak Arabic. Similar to in English, young people will say Pisgetti. Doing that right here. One time I was trying to say the word اخترعت, and I never said the word before. I only heard it. And I said kharata. So, okay, where was I going with this? I had too many tangents. Do you remember?
Well, you're taking us now with we're probably now viewing the trip from the outside.
Which trip?
Well, you said you're high.
Oh, I see. It's always a trip, huh? Oh, that kind of trip. I thought you. By the way, does trip mean like a traveling? I guess it does. That's what trip means.
Yeah, but I also think that this more applies in the case. It probably derives from the experience you would get from psychedelics more than just getting high from.
Oh yeah. Although if you mix, man, I don't know if I should be saying things like this on the show or any show or publicly. If you mix first ecstasy and then weed, I had some hallucinations with that. Although it's significantly different than the kind you would get with psychedelics like mushrooms or DMT. Anyway.
Well, maybe you can reserve that for some other occasion.
Yeah. Let's get to the main point today then. I'm going to be presenting my current ideas on the EELS program, Ex-Muslim Activist Learning Series. It is a live stream, weekly live stream, and a forum that work with each other. And the concept is to, actually, let me just put it on the screen. I am going to say way too much when it's all on the screen already. Oh, you know what? I missed showing Betty's. Let me just do it now. There. Currently 5,445 signatures. We need a few more today. You know what sucks is I don't know, like just checking before and after this live stream won't tell us how many came from us, because things are trickling in from the thousands of places that this is being promoted at.
But it's really unfortunate that this is not actually moving with the same impetus that it was moving at the very beginning. I remember when this started, the petition, there was a lot of interest. People have to realize that she is still in jail, that she is
and it's worse now.
Yes,
like it has to be worse for her today than it was back then. It's not like it's sorry.
Yeah, so the thing is that this, even though it might have made a news splash at the beginning, the fact is that she is still suffering in the same situation that she was before, and probably worse. So it's now even more urgent that people rally behind this and try to put an effort in order to put an end.
That's why I figured to talk about this every time. And I bought a shirt related to Free Betty. I forget what it says. Something about going to jail for wearing a shirt. And I want to wear it every episode. Maybe I'll buy a shirt for you too.
Well, there was a shirt that I bought from directly from EXMI in the Reason Rally back in 2016. It says "Awesome without Allah." I have a whole story about that shirt, but it was it was a really nice experience, and I enjoyed being there.
Okay, so here's the forum. Look at the logo, first of all. I'll have a bigger one later. This is an old logo that I had a company make for me 4 years ago. I'm reusing it. It's a project that I ended. It didn't succeed. But I'm so happy that it makes so much sense here. It's actually kind of the same concept. It's 4 years ago, it wasn't about Islam or ex-Muslims, but now it is. But the stuff is the same. Like everything you're about to hear here. Fuck those words. I never had to say those together. Okay, so when you first come here, if you're not a member, you're going to see this message saying, to post here, you got to be a member, and here's how you apply. And this is showing it as if I guess it's me here. If it was you, somebody else looking at this, you would see something else first. You'd see this one first. What is Ex-Muslim Activist Learning Series? EELS. I don't know why it goes to the bottom like that. For you, it would go to the top. I don't know why it's going to the bottom for me. So, announcing a Uniting the Cults-led initiative in collaboration with Ex-Muslims International Coalition. The Ex-Muslim Activist Learning Series, EELS, with a weekly live stream at its core, which is phase one of the whole program, is phase one of a two-phase plan to train and empower the next generation of activists of every kind, including live streamers. I wanted to say an extra thing here, which is I think even people that don't want to go public, but they want to talk with their loved ones about things in a positive way that would help, truth seeking, while also protecting themselves and protecting them. I want to help those people too, and I see that as a form of activism. It
Yeah,
fulfills.
that's exactly what I was going to say. It is definitely a form of activism. You don't have to go public. You don't have to go and shout from the top of buildings that you're an ex-Muslim and try to change the world based on that. There are so many different things that are happening in a person's life with directly with their loved ones, with their immediate environment that requires so much. Delicate approach, something that's a little bit more deliberate, and something that avoids the dangers and addresses so many different issues. So yeah,
Well,
it's
here's the
definitely.
point. So it fulfills the same purpose that activism in this coalition does, where the cause is ending apostophobia and apostasy laws. So if you help one person, your family member, that helps the whole world, even though it's a small part. Butterfly effect, it can have a lot of effect later. Imagine you help one person, that person has 3 kids, that those 3 kids could have a different scenario based on the help you gave to that parent. So it's small, but it's significant.
It also feeds into the idea of um, normalizing dissent, to borrow EXMNA's slogan, normalizing dissent at a level where it's propagating not just amongst a small community of people who are actively engaged in this, but something that would also propagate throughout the Muslim community itself, and it would remove or alleviate this image that ex-Muslims have as being subvertive, that being disruptive of Muslim life, because after all, we are part of that community. At the end of the day, we're not enemies of Muslims. We're trying to help Muslims as well. So I think this is a really important aspect of understanding
Yeah,
what things can be done at the individual level.
from the outside, from the people that don't understand us, and this is true for some Muslims and also some Westerners who have nothing to do with Islam, they see us leaving Islam as leaving our family and leaving our tribe. But we don't want to leave our family and we don't want to leave our tribe.
Yeah,
And part of why we're doing this is to help our family and help our tribe.
exactly. Yes.
Instructors and members will support each other, sharing strategies and encouragement. And instructors also take on member roles to keep learning from our more seasoned leaders, including myself. I want the bigwigs to come on the show to teach me, like I'm already trying to do by being involved with them, but having another way to gain that knowledge, maybe in a way where it's more intentional for them to be teaching us, where right now it's me trying to learn from them without them really trying to teach us.
Yeah, learning by osmosis versus actually learning in gulps.
Yes. You remind me of the 1974 Caltech commencement speech by Richard Feynman, where he used that phrasing. He goes, I apologize to the world because we've been expecting you guys, to students, to learn by osmosis. And he's basically implying we should be teaching directly the scientific approach, which, by the way, what this program is. I use different words, but you'll see it later. I'll tell you later where it is the scientific approach. You'll see it. It's in this episode. How the program works. Each week's live stream features direct teaching of skills and practical examples, interactive question and answers, where members bring real challenges, like specific problems they're having in their life, in specifically their activism, but it doesn't have to be their activism. It could be issues with their family, their friends. and collaborative projects to apply what they've learned and get feedback. So the idea there is to encourage them to do little activism projects in the form of baby steps where they get a lot of feedback from us. Between sessions, between weeks, discussion continues on this forum we're looking at, where anyone can follow along and members can post, share updates, and build on ideas from the live streams. Ideas from the forum also shape future live streams, creating a two-way exchange that keeps the learning dynamic and community-driven. Part of the point here is it's not just that we're going to be teaching you what we think we need to teach you. Also, we want to hear from you what you think you need to learn, because I'm sure you will say some things we haven't already thought of.
And at the end of the day, this is practical knowledge that has been developed through experience, which means it's never a definitive set of rules that never change. This means that whoever is actually doing the teaching is also learning at the same time and presenting a kind of a tentative set of ideas that they could change after gaining more experience. They could change as things progress. There are so many different things, but yeah, it's what's being imparted here is not a set of fixed rules that people
Like
would
the
know.
religions,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
final answer. Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's clarify. Even in people see physics as like almost godly, right? Some people do, at least. But even our physics theories are just approximations of reality. They are wrong in the sense that they are not perfect. And which means we are going to find better theories in the future. That's how the process works. The same is true for all the ideas we are delivering. They are approximations of the perfect methods.
I don't know if
People in
there's
this
such a
book,
thing. I don't know if there's such a thing as a perfect method, but it's definitely a kind of a goal that
would you say
that
the same about perfect law of physics?
I think, well, that's a different thing, because we talked about this before. I think in the case of physics, it's much simpler to actually think about how to describe some phenomenon using physical law. And so, in principle, there are certain things that you could actually say we've reached something closer to being an ultimate description of something. I wouldn't go that far, but it's more attainable in physics than in something that's a human endeavor.
Yeah, I agree with that. Meaning, in the sense of the way I describe it is all knowledge is objective knowledge, but in physics, it's way easier to be objective than in other fields where the object of study is a much more complex thing. In physics, the object of study is physical matter like atoms, where in, let's say, sociology or law or economics or the thing we're talking about related to apostasy and apostophobia, the object of study is human beings. Like,
I,
I don't know what number to put on that. How many more times that is more complex than an atom?
Yeah, there's something a little bit paradoxical here that might not appear on the first on first glance. People have the conception that physics is hard. Physics is appears hard because of the fact that it's actually talking about much simpler systems, so that we were able to achieve a very good description of these systems using our math. Whereas in the case of human systems, they are so hard that we haven't even begun to really tackle these things. And so they appear to
That's
be.
true. We've advanced in the field of physics far more than the other fields.
Yeah.
I wonder historically too. Physics is like 400 years old. How old is like economics or sociology or psychology?
Well, you
It's
can.
all newer than 400, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about the works of Adam Smith and people who came later that developed economic theory and sociology and so on. But these are still soft sciences in the sense that they haven't really reached the kind of rigor that you have in physics. In order to reach that, it's going to be a mind-boggling thing that we don't even have a conception of how to do yet.
Oh, I think we have a conception. It's things like what we say about the brain is we need to learn a lot more about neuroscience. Okay, so imagine we have another 200 years, and actually 200 years doesn't make much sense. Our measuring tools are getting way better, so that might shorten the 200 to like 20. I don't know. Uh, anyway, let's get back to the point a little bit. So, next point: essential skills taught. We kind of already touched on this. Critical thinking. And I actually put decision making with it, with a slash instead of a comma. I see them as pretty much the same thing. Communication, charisma, storytelling, boundary setting, and enforcement. Anti-trolling, collaboration, emotional regulation, journaling, de-indoctrination methods, and more. And also, instructors can propose topics for committee approval. So this is not just me as an instructor. This is anyone in EXMI that thinks they can teach something and is worthy with approval of the committee, which I don't know exactly how that's going to work yet. I still haven't presented this to EXMI. The guiding philosophy of this program, of this two-phase plan and the future mentorship program. Did I skip that too much? I see this program as a thing that can change the environment enough where we're capable of starting a mentorship program. I think we're not capable now. That's what people have been telling me. So the ultimate success of EELS phase 1 is setting us all up to make phase 2 the mentorship program. Early measurements will be things like we're getting more members, more views, more watch hours, but the final measurement of success is we started a mentorship program, and I mean that it succeeded, not started and failed. All right, our cause to end apostophobia and apostasy laws will outlive us all. To secure its future, we must help others replace us, become as good as us, and ultimately surpass us, creating greater impact than we do today. As Isaac Newton said, if I have seen a little further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. And Ellie Goldratt added, this is a paraphrase, and this is not a big ad, but it's significant, I think. It's our responsibility to stand on their shoulders and see further than they did. Where Isaac Newton was just saying, by accident, this is what happened.
I don't know if that's what he meant, but yeah, I see your
Yeah.
point.
I mean, he was a physicist, not necessarily a wordsmith.
Oh, he was a very antagonistic person, also.
Really? I'd like
Yeah,
to
very,
ask you about that one day. Or maybe say one sentence.
well. There were issues about ownership of certain ideas that he had
He
with
stole
Hooke.
some.
Yeah, they would say that this might have happened. I don't know how really true this is. I'm not a historian of science to actually say I've delved into the documents of this, but he had a lot of disagreements with people. He had a
And
dispute, for example.
it's possible that not necessarily he took credit for things that weren't his, but that other people gave him credit after him and he's dead and can't fix it.
To some extent, yeah. Some of the ideas were already formulated in some way, and then he basically put final touches. The same way with Einstein. Einstein didn't actually just come up with general relativity on his own. He was really interacting with a lot of people, and he did so much work that had collaborators and so on, but that doesn't really get as mentioned. So it's when you say you stood on the shoulders of giants, it's definitely something that they would be able to give you some specific names and specific ideas, but from the retrospective of history, you can also see much more than they didn't see. They would be implicitly depending on other people without really realizing it, and building on ideas, some ideas that are just floating there in the zeitgeist that you would be using and incorporating in how you present things without really realizing that this is something that's coming from that environment that you're soaking it in.
I think I have an example like that, related to seeing epistemology and science as the same thing. And I feel like when I discovered it, I noticed quickly, wait, I think I heard this from someone else. And I looked it up and I was right. But it wasn't directly said, it was vaguely said. And then I realized another person that I've been following also said it in another vague way. And the only difference is I'm saying it more clearly rather than I'm saying a new thing. The guiding mindset for anybody in this program should be, to become the greatest leader, one must first become the greatest follower. And I soften this statement for the advertising of this program. I say, to become a great leader, one must first become a great follower. But the logic is the same for both of them. Our vision. We envision a world that recognizes love as the goal and reason as the method to achieve it. Love means wanting the best for people, even our enemies. So instead of thinking, I want my enemies to suffer, we think, I want my enemies to turn to the good side so we can be friends. For our friends and loved ones, love means sometimes having to say to them, if helping you means hurting me, then I'm not interested. The idea is that all human interaction can and should be win-win. Nobody loses, everybody gets what they want, and nobody is sacrificed to another. Reason means recognizing that we are fallible beings. We can be wrong even when we think we're right. Even when we think we're acting out of love, we could be wrong. We might have crossed over into abuse without realizing it. So we must seek out critical feedback on our actions and leave open paths to discover our mistakes. We must be able to answer, if I'm wrong and someone knows it, how will I find out? Do I make it easy for others to correct me? Or do I build massive walls that effectively block people from educating me? Reason allows us to master our emotions, not suppress them. As Aristotle said, anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and it is not easy. But note, this is my side now, everybody can grow both the strength and skill of their anger, learning to wield it with precision so it serves only good and never evil. By practicing love and reason, we become capable of growth, skillful action, and effective leadership. Level up, grow, learn by learning. Sorry, lead by learning. Damn, I fucked up the end.
Yeah, that's actually you're great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Next thing.
So before proceeding, has that been launched? Is it going to be launched soon? Is it still going to be seeing some developments?
No
What sort of
launching. I'm just making the proposal now to deliver to EXMI. I mean, the website is up and I'm accepting applications, and we got one applicant who, as far as I know, is not an ex-Muslim. And by the way, you don't have to be an ex-Muslim. You could be a never Muslim as long as you're part of Ex-Muslims International. That means you're working towards our goal, our cause of ending apostophobia and ending apostasy laws. Oh, Here she
What
is.
about practicing Muslims
Who want to end apostophobia and
who want
apostasy laws?
to?
Then
No,
yes.
well, I'm not saying necessarily that. Who might want to join in and be part of this community?
Well, our cause is to end apostophobia and apostasy laws. And by the way, everyone should know apostasy laws hurt Muslims first. Or I don't know if it's first, but it hurts Muslims because, other flavor of Muslims think the other flavors of Muslims are apostates or something like that. So
Right,
they get
right.
mistreatment from other Muslims.
But that's not how they usually view it.
Which
From their well, the the people who say, "Oh, we're being affected by the apostasy laws because we are not being considered Muslims," they're not going to say, "Let's end apostasy laws," as far as I
Oh well,
know.
then why would they want to join? Help me with that.
Well, I can imagine that somebody would want to join to criticize, to present the alternative view that no, apostasy laws should stay.
That's not what this is for. They can go talk publicly somewhere else about us, like
Right,
on
but
RX Muslim Sub or some other fucking place. Why do they need to be in my program saying that?
yeah, well, maybe if I would put it slightly differently, is this an open forum for people to
Oh no no no!
discuss
You have to be
ideas?
a member to be on the forum. You can't be just anybody on the internet. You have to
Okay,
be a member. Fill out the application, and we have to approve you.
okay,
That means
okay,
things like you're an ex-Muslim or a never Muslim part of EXMI.
okay.
Yeah,
That's what I was asking about.
right. Okay. We have a question. How do you feel about AFA guy? What is that? I can't remember his name. Sorry, he lost tons of family members in Gaza. I don't know AFA, and she's saying
Uh,
she doesn't know the name, but. And also, what's the relation to what we're talking about today? Okay, next thing. The guidelines. Okay. Wait, this is like repetitive. Forget the guidelines because I kind of made a document that also says all those things already. Next thing. Okay. Actually, I want to skip ahead. Let me do something else. Let's do this. I have some things out of order. Abby, I don't know the guy you're talking about on Instagram. I'm not even on Instagram. I mean, I have an Instagram account, but I don't use it. So now, no, not that. This one. So, okay. So this is what we'll be posting on the lead up to a live stream. Episode 1, we'll put a date. The title, this one is called Guiding Philosophy of Eels. That'll be the discussion of the first live stream. Let's make this bigger. So is this beautiful or what? Is
yeah,
that a
it's a very
bad leading question?
no, it's a very nice.
Like you feel bad to say otherwise if somebody says it like that. Or somebody says it like this. Is this beautiful or is this beautiful?
No, it's this beautiful. Okay, no, it's. Uh, I think I'm looking at it visually. It's actually presenting something that's appealing, and obviously, it's going to depend on the message and how it's going to be varying from one time to another. But the presentation of it and the elements that it has does have a nice balance that would entice you to actually look at it and see what's going on.
So this logo was made by a company did some work for me, and I just kept all the colors like white, aqua, orange throughout the whole thing.
I
Um,
do remember seeing you use it on a place on Facebook, I remember, or something.
yeah, for a program helping someone else out. She hasn't done it, so I'm taking the logo back. Okay, live stream Sundays, 1 p.m. Uh, Universal Time or whatever it's called. Um, Uniting the Cults in collaboration with EXMI. Guiding philosophy, love and reason. These were the things I said earlier today. Join us as we explain our guiding philosophy. I mean, today we said a little bit, but this was just a teaser. We didn't really say much details. This is going to be a whole hour of that. Um, and this post says, after you watch it, what are your thoughts? Actually, this should say something else too. What questions do you have on the lead up to the live stream? I should add some more stuff here, or
Well,
maybe the
if I want something about the visual of that thing, it seems that the last sentence, join us as we explain our. It seems that there is a stroke added at around the text. Was that intentional?
black.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it seems to be the only element that's there in all of the text.
I did it intentionally. When I
Okay.
had it the other way, it looked too not grabbing.
Okay.
I wanted this to grab your attention.
Okay. Yeah. So
It's
I just
different.
wanted to check if it's something that was
Yeah,
intentional or
intentional.
not,
Yeah.
because it does stand out.
Okay. Next one. How do I get to the next one? Hold on. Next one. Where is the next one? I know I did another one. There it is. Episode 2. Reason. In the guiding philosophy one, we would have mostly talked about love, a little bit about reason. This one is just reason, and notice I put science here, or in other words, the scientific approach. Other words people might use is critical thinking. Lots of other words you could use. Learn to use questions in your thinking and discussion with others, like Socratic method. Learn to find the crux of the debate, to avoid swimming in the ocean of evidence. Learn to avoid unproductive thinking, which people call overthinking, and unproductive discussion with others. And part of this is going to be decision making, because it's a natural same thing. Critical thinking is decision making. You're making decisions. Let me look at comments real quick. Abby says talk later. um, let's see. What else do we have?
So
Uh,
it's a nice structure that's following some of the ideas that we have already explored at some point. Um, i- is it going to be building on that? Is it going to be presenting new things from the perspective of other people? How are
so
you thinking?
so I'm not seeing any of what we did in this show as anything related to eels, in the sense that if I repeat something, it's not a repetition. It's brand new.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that it's a
So
repetition
it's going
as
to be a complete repackaging of all of it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you remember I had complaints about the last one, the way it was organized and stuff like that. So I'm glad I did it before, because now it's going to be so much better this time.
Okay.
Like before, you could say it was beta. This one's not beta. The next thing is, so this is a mind map of the ideas that I got from Grok, reorganized by ChatGPT, on how to integrate the live stream with the forum. There's so much stuff that could be done that this needs a lot of effort. How do I zoom? First set of ideas: forum threads tied to each live stream. That's kind of obvious, which already started. Automatically create a discussion thread. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it automatic. Maybe we could use Zapier to do that.
Well,
But even if it's
if
not automatic, I'll do it manually.
I don't know why it should be automatic. It's especially if this is going to be done on a weekly basis. It's just a small task, especially that after a show has actually been done, you might want to change whatever it is that's being done automatically based on the content
I'll
of.
have different things to say and questions that the automated system won't be able to come up with unless I have it do some AI shit and come up with questions.
I don't think it's,
Those questions
yeah,
are bad. I mean, they might have some good ones, but let me just use my brain.
yeah. Well, create a discussion thread without necessarily doing it automatically. That's probably good enough.
Link forum threads in live stream descriptions and chat. Yeah, that makes sense. That means during the live stream, do one of these comments and banners. Yep. Keep comments synchronized so people can continue conversations after the stream. Comments synchronized. What does that mean? I would have to go back to Grok and ChatGPT and be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, synchronized with what? It's synchronized with the video or with the form? It's not really clear. Synchronized with what?
Yeah, you know what I find is sometimes I see something like this and I think that the AI has no clue what it's saying. And then I ask it to clarify and it says something that's very clear. So their shorthand comments make sense to them, but not us. And that happens between humans. But they seem to write really shorthand stuff with very little awareness that we don't know their goddamn shorthand. Really bad teachers. Really bad teachers.
I'm not
Imagine
sure.
a teacher acting that way.
I don't really necessarily face this issue with ChatGPT. Maybe because you specifically ask it to be less verbose, to be actually concise. I don't
But it's
care
worse
about
than that.
whether.
It's worse than that. I use Grok in my free account for X, so I'm limited to 288 characters. Grok is also limited in a sense. Like if you use Grok privately, he'll write essays. But on X tries to make him do 500 character posts maximum, and that's very long. And the thing is, I cheat. I don't know if this is really cheating, but I cheat. I go against the 288 characters by I make a GitHub file, sometimes 7,000 characters, and I put a link in a X post. So I'm making Grok read a 7,000 character post, and then I'm having him reply in a 500 character post. So he's having to make everything short just to get all the ideas out. So there's a pressure on him to do short.
No, I have never used Grok, so I don't know.
Anyway, so this is all in. I don't know why I put it here. I should have showed you guys this here instead of showing it to you there.
How finalized is the idea of the proposal so far?
I don't know. That's kind of vague. What do you mean?
I mean, is this the full proposal? So, for example, this mind map, is it something that's
It's not even part of the proposal. That's way too much detail for the proposal. I mean, I am going to say I want to integrate the two, and then we're doing a lot of work on that, but that doesn't need to be part of the proposal, I don't think. So I've done a lot more work than just the proposal. I mean, even having made the forum is more than the proposal needed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you could go to the EELS forum, and there's a post asking people for their feedback on how to integrate the live stream with the forum, with these ideas as something they could look at while they're doing that. And again, I haven't fully looked at all of it yet. I still feel like it's a little bit early. Oh, and that answers part of the question. If the question is, when am I starting? I want to have all this figured out. Not necessarily fully, but I want to have a whole bunch of ideas of exactly what I'm going to do. You know, I don't want episode 1 to be, well, kind of the way we treat DI, deconstructing Islam, where I don't mind coming up and thinking of new stuff as we're going. I want it to be more prepared because of the kind of program it is. It's not just a live stream. What else do we have?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so building on that, yeah, this is something. If you remember, if you go back to maybe the first few episodes that we did with this, on a couple of them, I actually came up with a really well detailed plan with a slideshow and so on, and then you came up with something similar. I think. I think if you're trying to make this a kind of a course, a teaching experience, it has to be much more condensed and much more leaner than what you would do if you're just having a conversation about something instead of just having such a focus.
Yeah, so that means we can't just be talking. We have to have stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
Which means we did earlier preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically on the level of those two, you know, we did, well, here, the first 5 episodes of DI, those were off the cuff without planning, but it still worked really well for its purpose. And then the next mini series was how to de-indoctrinate yourself. That was very planned, but I don't think it was very good compared to my ideas now. This one is going to be as planned or more, but significantly better because I went through that process before. Okay, so don't miss any of the EELS live streams. So subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell icon for all notifications. And next, I did it out of order. Always need to comment first. There's no comment yet. Can't click on anything. But now you can. And I guess let me show it on the screen too. There, that shows our logo a lot bigger. I'm not perfectly happy with the font here, but it's what I have right now. Application for membership to EELS. Learn more about EELS here. This just goes to the main post that I showed you guys earlier on the forum. Membership in EELS will give you access to the live streams and to the forum. You're expected to participate in both. We don't know when we're starting yet. And the email address you provide will be the email address we notify people when we do start. We just ask basic stuff, you know, your email, what name do you want us to call you? You can be anonymous. Your YouTube handle, so we know who you are when you call into the live streams and when you chat. Are you an EXMI member? And if you're interested to be a member, what do you hope to learn from your time here? And if you're interested to be an instructor, what do you hope to teach in this program and how would that benefit people who learn it? And if you want to send a long email, you can do that instead of this little short thing. And
is this form live now?
And somebody already submitted an application, and that was the person that talked right here, Abby.
Okay. Abby Greenbaum. Okay.
Actually, I don't know if I was supposed to say that. That could be private. I don't know. Oops. I got to get better at that kind of stuff. Okay. We did that inside of an hour. Dude, I've been planning this for a whole week. Every day it was like many hours. And I still fucked up some stuff.
No, I actually, it's wonderful the way that this was presented. It seems a very well thought out plan. Obviously, it's going to have a lot of modifications as things progress, as things maybe get tweaked and actual live streams happen. But I think it's a good seed for the whole idea, the whole series.
So now I'm thinking, I did way more work than I thought I was going to do in 1 week. Like, I thought we were going to have a lot of episodes here. I think maybe next week we're going to go back to normal schedule DI stuff, and then maybe for a portion of it at the end to discuss new stuff that have developed or new things I want to ask about related to this program.
Yeah.
And I really don't know when we're starting. I mean, for one thing, I want to feel comfortable that I'm ready. I'm definitely not there now.
Yeah. I don't think this needs to be necessarily rushed. This is something that could have a lot of back and forth in the background, behind the scenes, maybe something semi-public, but it's definitely something that requires planning before it actually fully launches and it's available.
Yeah, and I already started contacting people. One person who's not even part of EXMI. Let me show that on the screen. Where do I have it? Here it is. Despite all that work I did, I still have these little, oh, I missed this and I missed that.
Did you put something on the screen? Because it's not showing on the screen.
Yeah, hold on. Wrong button, damn it. I don't know if link can edit. No, what do I want? Where? Present. Present. Okay. What? Not what I wanted. Come on, I had a link. Where's the link? Hold on.
It grew a mind of its own and it's now being elusive, doesn't want to show up.
Public view link, finally. Okay. So we already saw that one. And we saw that one. There's you, but I need a picture that, like, your shoulders are cut off. I need like a full body picture.
I don't remember what I shared with you, actually. Did I share this with you?
I might have found this on the internet, man.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's old photos that I have. And then I would ask you to tell me exactly what to write here. This is just placeholder.
Yeah.
This is kind of.
No, I think the description is good. The actual content we might have to plan a little bit better, to think maybe a little bit better about what needs to be talked about. But yeah,
I mean, I could give you a set of questions I want to ask you. You know, I'm interviewing you. Part of it is for people to get to where we are, they need to hear what we've done and the process we went through that led us here. So I might be asking you, and I guess I should be asking you questions like, okay, how did you leave Islam? Like, it'll be that far back. I might be asking questions about when you were 5 and 10 years old. I think people should hear that. So yeah, I could give you questions, but I mean, you kind of already know where I'm going to go with things.
Yeah.
You know how I talk. Next one. So here Wissam Hassan is going to be on the show. He already agreed. He gave me a nice picture
With shoulders.
with shoulders. Exactly. I specifically
Well,
said that to him.
well, sometimes I go without shoulders, so that's fine.
So Atheism Without Borders, his YouTube and his Facebook page, group. All in Arabic, by the way. You know what? Maybe we should have a. Hold on. And Allah says
You're okay.
no, and Allah says we're perfect, right? Doesn't He? Does that look perfect? Talking and drinking out of the same fucking hole. Sounds pretty stupid to me.
Well, that's you don't know how he works. He works in mysterious ways, so you don't know the wisdom that was placed in this kind of
Yeah,
design.
there's actually a little bit of truth to that in some things. So, as an example, evolution worked for billions of years in engineering us. Okay, so for a human engineer to look at the human body and say, I would have done something better with that. You're really overestimating your knowledge there. When
Yeah,
human evolution's been working on it for billions of years. I'll give you an example. I want to give you an example. I think you'll agree with me.
Okay, go ahead.
Zorro, you know Zorro.
Yeah.
He said, the human knee, the way it is, fuck that. I would have made it like the shoulder, he says. And the first thing I think in engineering, he's wrong on that. The shoulder is designed for a certain way for mobility. It is not good for handling a lot of weight. The knee is designed for a good holding weight.
So here's the thing. If you're going to be debating which is a better design, that's intelligent design. That's the design that you would get from humans, from engineers that are thinking about what could work and what would not work. Evolution doesn't work on that because evolution is using natural selection. And what happens is that what you're getting is not, okay, we want to achieve this goal. And so we're going to be designing this particular solution for that particular problem. What happens is that you have an equipment that has worked for something and you start tweaking that equipment.
And so there's no starting over from scratch.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't put some kind of a deep meaning or some deep purpose in these things that, oh, this is actually the best design. That's not necessarily.
No, that's not what I was saying. And let me describe what I'm saying for human knowledge so you see what I mean by genetic knowledge. So in the human knowledge case, what you often see from people, especially in the West, let's say they're aware of some really old tradition. And they think, oh, I got a better idea. And they think their idea is better when they have 5 seconds of thought into it. That is fucking retarded. The tradition, people have been editing it for millennia.
Yeah.
Well, the same case in the genetic evolution. Genetic evolution was editing the engineering of the body over billions of years. Now, you're right. You can't start from scratch on some parts of the body or any of the parts of the body. Where in human engineering, we're making a car, we can be like, dude, this headlight is so bad. Let's start from scratch.
No. Even then,
we're never starting from scratch.
Yeah. Even in the case of human-made things, you'd never actually start from scratch. They give you the impression, oh well, you're going to go.
But in a sense, it is from scratch because from the perspective of that car, it has never seen that thing you're bringing in.
Yeah, but the concept of a car is something that has evolved. It has its own evolutionary path, a cultural one, a very human one, but it's still a path. Go back 100 or 200 years ago and look at what people were using for transportation. It's going to be something completely different. It might be the ancestor of what we have today as a car, but it's going to be something very different. And what we have today is definitely the descendants in the sense of natural selection or quasi natural selection of those old cars, the buggies, the whatever it is that might have been there.
Yeah, so I guess to finish my point about we have this phenomenon in the West. I don't know how much it is in the Arab world. That if in comparing a new idea with an old idea, new one's automatically better, like just by it being new. But that means things like, okay, if you come up with a new idea and if it happens to contradict something Socrates said, so automatically you're right, Socrates is wrong. Socrates is amazing. You should not be throwing out all that knowledge just because you thought of a new idea yesterday, 5 seconds ago. I like the 5 seconds better.
Yeah, I think also the inertia of older ideas and traditions is also something that has an effect in the West. And even if you look at it
A
from the
negative
perspective
effect?
of, I'm sorry?
A negative effect or a positive one?
No. It's an effect. I'm not passing judgment on it whether it's good or bad. Just coming up with a new idea is not automatically going to make it better. It's only going to make it an idea. It's definitely not going to be coming out of nothing. It's going to have some ancestors. It's going to have some precedents, and it is a development based on these. Some people might, if you're just bringing up an idea out of 5 seconds of thought, that's obviously not going to fly no matter what. But an idea that is an idea that's new is always going to have some kind of a pushback. There is that huge momentum that the former ideas have gained over years, that you're basically going to be fighting against that huge momentum.
Hey, I gotta tell you something funny. Somebody posted an ex-Muslim subreddit, something like I fear hell or whatever. And I do this new thing where I let me just show it on the screen, I guess. Let me find it. So I say something like, I guess there's two things going on with you. You don't know how to reach a conclusive answer on whether Islam is true and hell exists. And then I also mention you probably have triggers, panic attack, which makes you stop thinking about the first thing, which prevents you from reaching a.
Go back a little bit. So the person is saying that they're fearing hell or trying to get over the fear of hell, or what is it that they're doing?
They always mention fear of hell, but sometimes they get specific on, that, they have this thought, is Islam true? Maybe they're wrong about Islam. The epistemology side of things, So I mentioned that you don't know how to reach a conclusive answer on whether Islam is true, and then I say you have triggers which prevents you from reaching a conclusive answer on if Islam is true. And I give these two little short essays that that are going to be edited and then submitted for whynotislam.net, the website by ex-Muslims of North America. Mm-hmm. And then I give my 13 hours of video, how to de-indoctrinate yourself. And then this person replied without reading any of it and said, anyway, blah, 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 ignored me, blah, 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 ignored me. I said some things. He's listening a little bit. And then he says, Uh, just a question, but why does your work not seem to actually get much attention from people? So I said, well, I started recently. And I said, also, people find it difficult to deal with very intellectual things, favoring less intellectual things. I think that's part of it. You know, having a lot of popularity does not imply goodness.
Yeah, it's a complicated question. It has so many different facets to it. It's not something that can be reduced to just one or two factors. It's a whole bunch of
Well, I
things.
mean, I think people know, maybe this person doesn't, I don't know, that a common way that people get a lot of viewers and make a lot of money is by kowtowing and just, giving people what they want, even if they know it's bad.
Yeah, like I said, it has a lot of factors in it,
And
and
I don't do that.
many of the factors are not necessarily like let's actually look at it from the perspective of websites that try to get try to force Google's hand by messing around with SEOs and things of that sort. You might not have something wonderful that you're offering on your website or blog, but if you engineer the SEO aspect of this, you can actually trick the search engine in order to give more traffic to your website than it actually deserves, or that people are really getting the benefit out of. So there are so many different things that go into this that are not necessarily related to the content itself.
Yep. Like Einstein made his theory, general relativity. If he had explained it a little bit less bad, it's still the same good theory. If he explains it a little bit better, it's still the same good theory. The theory didn't change. Just the ease of other people understanding it changed.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of that particular case, when the theory itself appeared, that did not give him the fame. The fame actually started after the experimental verification during the solar
Yeah.
eclipse of
Yeah.
1919.
So if you were going to wait to believe in general relativity until after the experiment happened, you would have been late by what? 5 decades? Is it 5 decades?
No. It's much less than that. We're talking about 4 or 5 years. But
For the first. So maybe it was some of the other tests took that long.
yeah, you probably have in mind the tests of special relativity, not general relativity.
I don't know physics enough to even differentiate those two. I don't fucking know. Maybe you can educate us one day in eels, but it seems irrelevant. Seems irrelevant.
Yeah, probably that would be a little bit irrelevant, and then maybe it would be too intimidating to it's even intimidating to actual physicists who are, well, undergrads probably, that might be getting a first exposure to this, because the math gets really, really, really messy.
I remember in my undergrad, we didn't deal with general relativity or special relativity. I don't remember dealing with that. Maybe there was a class I didn't take that you guys. Was there a class general relativity?
Some places have that. I did teach a course once that included a first half of special/general relativity, and the rest is just modern physics. But it was
So
really
modern physics. I remember. What is that? What year was that for me? Well, I guess sophomore year, 2 semesters, right? Modern physics.
If you got more than one course of modern physics, it's probably going to be a kind of a watered down quantum mechanics with some aspects
But in
of
modern physics, they do discuss general relativity, right?
Only qualitatively. You don't actually go
Right.
into the math.
I don't remember any fucking math.
Yeah,
I only got any math was when I read his book, General Relativity.
Yeah, so you might learn the math of special relativity, but general relativity, it's a completely different beast. It's the
I
math
actually
is,
don't remember. Actually, I have the book. I could go look, but um, the Lorentz transformation. Am I saying that
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's still within the realm of special relativity.
Okay. Which
I
one did he
mean,
come up with first?
he came up with special relativity and then general relativity, 1905 and
So
then
does general
1900.
relativity subsume special relativity?
Not really. I mean, it's the special relativity assumes flat space. It doesn't really talk about curvature. General relativity is when you start including curvature around very heavy objects and try to see how that's going to be affecting the curvature of space-time. And so, in
So if
order
you
to
take
do
general relativity, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so if you're doing special relativity, you wouldn't even need to think about gravity. You can pretend that you're still functioning in Newtonian physics. The only difference is that you place a limit to the speed of light, and that's going to then have the effect of the Lorentz transformations, things like the Fitzgerald contraction, the time dilation, and things of that sort due to changes in the speed and so on. But general relativity talks about what happens if you're close to a big object that has a big mass. In that case, you have to include certain other aspects that have to do with the curvature of space-time, which is not included in special relativity. So special relativity is just talking about Euclidean space.
But so just like, okay, if you take any, forget those two theories now. Let's just talk math. If you take a curved plane and then you manipulate that to only see it as a flat plane, it's this, like the part about, when you say the closest distance, what do they say? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But that's if you assume on a flat plane. If you assume on a curved plane, then the shortest distance between 2 points on that plane, curved plane, is not a straight line. But if you take that curved plane and stretch it out to make it flat, now it is a straight line again. So to me, that means general relativity curved, flatten it, you get special relativity. Or no?
Not quite, but what happens is that you generalize the idea of the shortest distance that you have between 2 points. In the case of flat space, it's just a straight line. In the case of something that has curvature, it generalizes to something called a geodesic, and the geodesic is just the shortest possible distance that you can have. Like if you're moving on the surface of Earth, you're going to be moving on geodesics.
Yeah. So it's not a straight line.
It's not a
And
straight line from when you're looking at it from the outside. From the inside, if you're within the space, you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
right. Okay. That makes it more clear right there. So can we say this? Relative to the person inside, it is straight. Relative to the person outside, it is not straight.
Yeah. So the whole idea is so looking at it from the perspective of curvature, there's intrinsic and extrinsic curvatures, and when you're thinking about the path that anything is going to follow, it's going to be following the shortest possible path that it can follow, um, regardless of the space it's in, regardless of whatever gravitating objects that you have in the vicinity.
All right. So do we have anything else to talk about today?
Mm, not on my perspective, but we probably should start thinking about maybe the next 1 or 2 episodes to think about what sort of ideas we're going to be exploring.
Well, I'll tell you what I already have recorded. Other things like before I come up with this stuff, this most recent EELS program. I mean, one of these is waiting for. I still haven't talked with Zorro to figure out when we would do an episode, when he would be free on a Friday. To do
Well,
Iraq.
he's going to do what? The Iraq.
Iraq Parliament passes laws related to letting men marry young women and stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I was thinking of maybe having a three-way, since that would be interesting. I don't really have much in terms of that particular topic, but if there's some kind of a shared topic that we can talk about, that would be nice.
And there was an episode planned to. Well, I need to get somebody for this. I think I had somebody. There's so many people that I contact that I forget, and I have stuff recorded, but even that's not enough sometimes. Especially when the other side, the other person doesn't reply back within time or something, or doesn't reply. And if they don't reply, then it's like it's not in my email inbox, so I forget it. There's a lot of that happens that way. But anyway, I'll figure out something for next week, and it might just be continuing this same topic if there's enough to say. If I think that's worthy of an hour. If not, I'll find something else.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's it, everyone. See you next week, 12 o'clock. And just so you know, we've changed our schedule a tiny bit. We're 1 hour earlier than our most recent normal schedule. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye, Osama. Take it easy.
See you next time.